Hi, everyone. Today we are going to be talking about body image and self-love. So I'm a mental health and wellness peer educator. My name's Lydia. I'm going to first start by talking about what is body image and what is self-love. So body image is the mental picture we have of our body, what it looks like, and how we often perceive it. It deals with how you interact with yourself, but also sometimes how you engage with others. This means that depending on your body image, you may think and respond to yourself and your body differently, meaning it can impact multiple aspects of your life. This also correlates sometimes to the way in which you talk, to think about, and interact with others. It can be based on your body image at some points. So, having a healthy body image means recognizing more of the qualities and strengths that make you feel really good about yourself, mentally and physically. So, this can be your strengths in who you are and what you're capable of. It also is very based on what is important to you and what you value. So, self love is a state of appreciation for oneself that grows from actions that support our physical, psychological, and spiritual growth. This is a combination of self esteem and self acceptance as it incorporates aspects of feeling and action to address how you react to yourself. It works to show growth from more of a mental standpoint, but it also addresses what that person does as an action item to demonstrate self love. So, this can, like I said, be physical or mental. And body image and self love can interact with each other directly and indirectly, but they do influence each other. And directionality in that factor is a little more difficult to show because body image plays a role into how someone acts out their self love and the path they take to feel good about themselves, while self love reflects into what someone can think about their body. So, negative thoughts from one may move into the other, creating more of a cycle. And sometimes it's a little difficult to get out of that headspace.
Okay, first off, was I muted when I was introducing myself?
Yes, you were.
That's what I thought. Okay, so I'm also a mental health and wellness peer educator. My name's Dale. So here is some notes before we get into the rest of the presentation. Some things to keep in mind is that modern beauty ideals, especially in the US, are based on archaic or outdated ideas of binary gender, misogyny, ableism and fat phobia, white supremacy and racism, and dictated by the patriarchy maintained by the upper class. So it is impossible to achieve them. So to break this down a little bit, binary gender refers to the masculine and feminine with nothing in between. Misogyny is the belief that men in masculinity are inherently better than women in femininity, which is seen a lot in beauty ideals that portray women to be weak and thin. Ableism, villainizing or ignoring disabled persons and disabled bodies. Fat phobia, believing thin to be inherently good and fat to be inherently bad. Fat as a term should be used neutrally. So if I use the term fat, it is used in a neutral way. White supremacy and racism is pretty self-explanatory. So this is all to say that beauty ideals are meant to be discriminatory. And as Lydia was saying in the last slide, a lot of body image is based on your own values and what you believe to be important about your own body. And society really tells us that we should believe all of these discriminatory things about ourselves, and we're encouraging to just let go of these. They are intentionally meant to be impossible to achieve.
So I'm going to focus a little bit more. We got two sides here on self-love, how to do it, how to exercise this, because it is really important. So the first one that I wanted to touch on, kind of relating back to what Dale just said, is try to refrain as much as possible from body shaming. Body shaming oneself is fairly common and dangerous to self-esteem and overall well-being. So since body image can be connected to self-love, it's important to find ways to try and stay away from body shaming yourself or others. Instead, try to spend time thinking about positives of yourself and other people, focusing less on bodies and more on characteristics of that individual. This could be spending less time looking at other people in this light, and it can translate more into yourself and vice versa. So second thing is to find things you like to do that can be engaging in a positive way. You can go on walks, have a good meal with your friends, getting some sleep, listening to a podcast, and more. This can really be anything you think is good for your well-being and encourages you to see yourself in a more positive light. One thing to note is this does not have to be physical, but if it is, try to work mental well-being into it and making sure you're feeling happy and not too stressed or overwhelmed. Incorporating physical elements into your life, such as working out, is often recommended and may seem great in theory, but holding a strict schedule or doing workouts that do not really support you mentally may not help in self-love at all. If you want to be more physical, try things that you find mentally stimulating, such as like dancing or just a casual walk. Appreciate all the things your body does for you. Your body constantly has to work hard every day to even do what people consider the simple tasks in life, and it should be appreciated and supported for that. Understand that looks have nothing to do with morals, talents, and values, because knowing that you are so much more than your body is extremely important in finding that self-love and acceptance. So continuing on with this, try to incorporate more simple practices into your daily routine. Changing an entire schedule that you may think is more negative can be really difficult. So focus more on those smaller steps and things you can really do. Pick a few goals you have to demonstrate self-love, such as getting 1 more hour of sleep or not doing homework too late in the night, and try your best to complete them. Fitting in smaller things makes it so much easier to find ways to make yourself happy and appreciate all the hard work you're doing throughout the day. Also, realizing that negative thoughts can happen and sometimes take over. Try not to get mad at yourself for feeling this way and instead focus on ways to engage yourself in more positive thinking. Affirmations can work for some in doing this, and try to think of things you can say to yourself to remind you of your worth, because it's normal to get kind of into that habit of thinking something more negatively, and it's important to focus not on being mad at yourself for thinking that way, but just trying to find ways to make it a little more positive. So kind of related to this, it's try to break the internal thoughts of certain foods, activities, and ideals as being good or bad. Focus more on what you enjoy and what's fulfilling to you. Sometimes we can get into a habit of thinking some things are bad, even when we enjoy them. For example, trying to stay away from thinking dessert is bad, rather than thinking of it as something that makes you happy and you can enjoy without feeling that way. Another example is playing video games, which in moderation is a great way to have fun and spend some time with yourself. Lastly, be kind to yourself in the process. The process of finding and maintaining self-love and moving away from negative body images can be extremely difficult, especially in society when it's pretty much constantly pushed. Do not try to put too much pressure on yourself to change right away, and instead be proud of all the hard work you're doing. If you're struggling by yourself trying to do this, try to reach out to someone who can provide more help for you in the process, because you definitely don't have to do it alone.
Okay, so the peer educators did a couple of presentations last year on general ideas of body image, body positivity, body neutrality. So this presentation is going to focus on specific circumstances that affect students. This portion is about disabled students and disabled bodies and disabled people. There are quite a few unique considerations and experiences that disabled people experience. Some of these are weight fluctuations due to medications or the onset of a medical condition, diet and exercise restrictions that may also be affecting weight, visible medical aids like wheelchairs or prosthetics, visible disabilities or physical traits from medical conditions like vitiligo. Disabled people also frequently experience infantilization from others or others objectifying disabled people, which means inherently believing disabled people to be asexual and having no sexuality, or just sort of objectifying them and not considering that they have unique thoughts and feelings. Disabled people are also likely to feel inadequate, unworthy, less than able-bodied people, or feel like a burden due to care needs, due to societal ableism that focuses a lot on how disabled people are just not as valid or deserving as able people, and that can be internalized a lot. So some suggestions on feeling this way. Focusing on what you can do and how medical aids or procedures have helped you regain function. So I have a couple of examples. Hannah Witten, which is the woman on the top, or on the, I guess, my left. So Hannah Witten is a disabled YouTuber who has an ostomy bag, which you can kind of see in the photo. And she has this due to ulcerative colitis. And she also has a lot of scars from major surgeries that she had before and after. So since getting these surgeries and getting an ostomy bag, she doesn't experience the flares of symptoms from ulcerative colitis, but she does have to deal with body image concerns about having an ostomy bag, since that isn't something that everyone experiences and certainly isn't something that is included in beauty ideals. So she focuses a lot in her content about how her ostomy bag has helped her. She's also a sex education and sexuality content creator, so she focuses a lot on sexuality as a disabled person. This quote is from the woman on the bottom or on the right, who is named Jessica Kelgren-Fozard, who is a disabled queer YouTuber who focuses on her strengths and activities. And she is quoted as saying, "I'm never going to be able to go on a hike with you, but I am great at baking." She experiences disabilities that limit her mobility. She's seen with crutches. And so she may not be able to go on a hike with a romantic partner, but she does have things that she can offer. She does have strengths and activities and hobbies, and that doesn't make her less of a person. Focusing on body neutrality rather than jumping straight to body positivity. It can be really hard, especially when you're coming to terms with a medical condition, to think positively about your body. But focusing on functionality of your body and can lead to more of a body neutrality or being at peace with your body. And then also finding support and or disabled role models like Hannah Witten or Jessica Kelgren-Fozard. This next slide is on body image after assault, especially sexual assault, and after eating disorder recovery, specifically more restrictive eating disorder recovery. And these two are together because both are extremely traumatic experiences that can severely affect a person's body image and their behavior surrounding their body. First and foremost, support is available to you. We will get into support resources at the end of this presentation, but these suggestions are not substitutes for therapy or medical care. So please reach out if you're struggling with either of these. So first, and this applies to both of them, both sexual assault and for recovering from an eating disorder, is that there is no perfect way or right way to heal. A lot of people who experience these two things feel like that they need to reach this ideal recovering person. And as I said at the beginning, there is no way to be a perfect human being, and every single person is unique. Every single person has a unique healing journey. And ultimately, it is only the person themselves or you that define your own healing journey. While connection with people experiencing similar experiences is awesome. Modeling your own healing journey verbatim off of someone else or an imaginary idea can just lead to guilt because you are your own unique person. Especially in the cases of assault and sexual assault, it is not you or your body's fault for what happened, and you are free to express yourself however you'd like. Some people who are survivors feel like they need to hide their body or be more modest. And conversely, some people feel the need to be less modest. Either way, however you choose to express yourself is valid. However, you do not need to hide or show your body for other people, or because you think that it's going to make you like less, it's going to make it less likely that this will happen to you again. Practicing self-care, and this is not just relaxation activities, although those are awesome, but this also includes actually taking care of yourself. So getting therapy, getting medical care, taking a shower, brushing your teeth, changing the sheets on your bed, very like daily stuff that may be falling by the wayside because of struggling and executive dysfunction and everything like that. You are deserving of care, and you deserve to take care of yourself. You deserve love from yourself. So these last two things are specifically about eating disorder recovery, thinking about the future, and optimistic nihilism, which is a sort of belief system that encourages people recovering from eating disorders, that has helped myself and many others. A lot of mental illnesses prevent a person from thinking towards the future. So just thinking about where you are and continuing behaviors into the future. So thinking that life is too short to worrying about what other people think. This is also based on a TED Talk that's on YouTube. It's titled "Life is Too Short to Measure Your Cornflakes," which is specifically for restrictive eating disorders, but is basically saying that life is too short to give in to your intrusive thoughts. This is, of course, after you've done a lot of recovery. Also, as Lydia was saying towards the beginning, eating well, exercising, taking care of yourself has nothing to do with weight or your worth or anything like that. Weight loss is not inherently healthy, and weight gain is not inherently unhealthy. The reason to eat well, exercise, and take care of yourself is to be healthy. And it is to get enjoyment for the things that you're doing. You should not be attributing weight or value to any of these things, but you should be doing these if they make you happy.
So to wrap it up a little bit, I'm going to talk about ways you can support others if you see other people struggling with this body image or self-love. So the first is realizing that positive comments can help, but sometimes comments that seem positive and helpful to someone may actually hurt them more, kind of in this toxic positivity, where instead of commenting on someone's body, focus on complimenting their style or personality. When people get stuck in thinking of their body in a certain way, sometimes it's best to find other things to make them feel good about and show how much more of a person they are than just their appearance. So focusing on their body and what they look like could also emphasize this idea that that's like the main thing about them, when it really isn't. So try to stay positive towards that person. It's easier to feel good about yourself when you are around others who are supportive and recognize the importance of liking yourself just as you are. Being someone they can come to and see positive self-love in can be a great way to encourage them to find that for themselves in whatever path is most beneficial to their mental well-being. Try to be present mentally if they can confide in you. Make sure you're comfortable with the situation before continuing. And if you are having trouble with self-love yourself, or you may not be able to provide the support that they need, make sure you assess the situation and do not put either of you in a situation where it feels wrong or incorrect, but definitely focusing on just really listening to that person. A lot of times it feels like it's important to kind of jump to ways to immediately fix the situation and reassure that person that what they're thinking is wrong. But at that moment, that person really needs someone to just listen to them and hear what they have to say and what they're going through. So it's really important that you're there. Like I said, don't just try to tell them they're wrong. Try to be non-judgmental and supportive instead. Saying things like, stop, you're pretty, does not always help someone when they're in a more negative mindset. And it's often better to just be more supportive and let them know that you understand and you're there for them. Understand that a person's physical appearance says very little about their character and value as a person. It can be great to understand and remind your friends that appearance has nothing to do with who they are and what they value as a person. Although it sounds cliche, real beauty really does come from within. It's important to focus on that and highlight that for yourself and for others. Lastly, try to practice self-care with them if possible. It can be a fun and engaging way to get them involved in things they can do to feel better about themselves. This can include more like fun self-care things, such as like a spa day or going out and getting a good lunch, even just taking a walk together or talking through issues. It's great to show people how you work on self-love and what that means for you, and to maybe give them some options into things that they may resonate with more. And like Dale said, everyone's kind of path and journey in this isn't going to be the exact same, but just kind of giving some ideas and encouraging them to get more active in this process of self-love could be really beneficial to them.
Okay, so thank you all for listening. If you have any questions, we have CAPS resources listed here, especially if you are feeling or dealing with any of the experience that specifically I talked about, or if you are also struggling with your own body image, CAPS is a great resource. We are on the second floor of the UC, basically right when you walk up the stairs, when you come to the front of the UC. You can also email or call CAPS if you don't feel comfortable walking in. We are offering both virtual and in-person appointments. And we also have a variety of support groups and therapy groups available. So thank you again, everyone, for listening. And hopefully you come back for the next one.